February 2009, when I was visiting South Africa on an official visit, I paid my respect to him, saying that he contributed greatly to humanity, particularly ending apartheid. I was struck when he replied, "No, Secretary General, it's not only me. There were hundreds of known, unknown people who worked for that cause." He repeated 3 times, known and unknown people who worked for that cause. It was not only him. I was so much touched, it struck me deeply. Since then, I have been disseminating and explaining my experience to many people, and I was deeply inspired. It is still the guiding principle and inspiration for me as Secretary General of the United Nations. It would be extremely difficult to find any such a great teacher or mentor. When I was a junior officer working in the United Nations mission, it was 1970s. Even at that time, I learned a lot about Nelson Mandela. All the member states were talking about how we can help South Africans end apartheid and make them free, and how we can help Mandela set free from detention. I learned a lot about his ideals and visions and principles. Since then, I have really admired him as a Secretary General of the United Nations. What he taught me at that time, what I learned from him, then it's being practiced by me on a daily basis in addressing conflict issues and in trying to help promote the reconciliation and harmony among countries. So he is a great teacher and mentor. In my remarks, I said he is the greatest teachers of our time, and he practiced and he taught by example. I was honored to participate this very moving, very important state funeral service on behalf of the United Nations. It was a wondrous celebration for the legacy and achievement of Nelson Mandela, even though everybody grieved his passing. I was also honored, deeply touched by such a big support among the crowd. I regarded it as their support for the United Nations. United Nations, in fact, stood side by side with South African people since a long time by using every available tool we had, sanctions and arms embargo, sport boycotting, diplomatic isolation. Therefore, we were same, we were united, and I was deeply, deeply touched by such a strong support and warm welcome for me. But I regarded it for the support of the United Nations rather than myself as a person.
The US President, President Barack Obama, handshake with President Raul Castro from Cuba.
I'm not sure whether one can read too much into this encounter, but I think that the handshake itself is a testament to Nelson Mandela.
Now let's continue our discussion with Dr.